Rebuilding a Stuart Major beam engine, Part 3. Making a phosphor bronze bush for the beam in an attempt to improve the appearance of the water pump drive. Fettling the pedestal casting with a file and a small drum sander and drilling the mounting holes in the pedestal. Here's the beam on the bench, and as you can clearly see, the holes in the beam are not in the centre of the cast bosses. Now the front two, where the ruler is, are not too bad. They're covered by the Watts parallel motion linkages. But there's nothing to cover up the other hole, which is the water pump drive. With the beam tightly clamped in the machine vise on the milling machine, I'm using an end mill to centralise the hole. So now the hole is going through the centre of the boss, and the boss is perfectly flat on the milling machine. With a perfectly machined hole in the centre of the boss on the beam, it's time now to make a bush to fit this hole. I'm making this bush from a piece of phosphor bronze. This is a free cutting type of phosphor bronze. I do not want this to be an interference fit. If it's an interference fit, which is a tight fit, I'll have to press it into the beam, and what will happen then is the hole in the bush will get smaller because it's been compressed by the beam, and I'll have to run a reamer through by hand. So I'm doing this all in one process. Centre drill first, then open up the hole using a drill that is 1 imperial size less than the hole that I finally want. I'll then use a 3/8 of an inch reamer to finally size the hole, and the existing pin fits perfectly. What I'm doing in this clip is measuring the length of the bush that I need, and I'm parting it off slightly over size. Once it's parted off, I can then turn it round in the chuck and cut it to the finished size. I made a plug gauge by putting a piece of brass in the existing hole in the beam and making a mark on it, which gives me the length I need for the bush. And then I fit the bush to the beam using some Loctite 603 as usual. This bush is not a tight fit or a slack fit in the hole. It has to be just the right kind of a fit. It's a gentle push fit, I would describe it as. I'm rotating it here to make sure it's covered in Loctite 603. And I'm going to tap it with a hammer, but very, very gently, to make sure it's level with the outer edge of the cast iron. In this clip I have the beam securely mounted in the milling machine, and I'm milling off the excess part of the casting to match the part that's been milled off at the other side. All will be revealed when I put the engine back together. I don't know why the bosses are not in the same place on either side of the beam. I am assuming these are proper Stuart castings. But maybe not. I don't know where the engine came from in the first place. The cast iron itself seems to be fairly good quality. Here I'm just using a needle file and an emery block to tidy up the piece I've just machined. Before I forget, I'd just like to mention that a while back in one of the previous episodes, I used some heat to heat up this centre pin and destroy the bond of the Loctite, allowing me to move the pin into the correct position. Originally there was also an Allen grub screw in this hole. I'm now replacing it. I've ground it to the right length so it doesn't protrude from the beam, and now the centre pin's well held in position. For the moment, all I need to do now is scrape off some of this oil residue from underneath the beam. I'm going to immerse all these parts in cellulose thinners anyway, before painting the engine, but it makes it easier if I remove the thick of the stuff before I do that. And finally, I'm giving the beam a good rub with some sandpaper. This beam should come up quite nicely once it's all done. First thing to do when making a flywheel pedestal or working with any cast part is to clean up the casting. This is not a particularly nice casting. It's got a lot of flashing all the way around the edge and all the way around the inside edge. A good way of cleaning up castings is to use a drum sander like this. And as I've just shown in the video, it's very important to make sure you keep the drum sander moving, otherwise a line will appear and there'll be no sandpaper there. There is a very visible imperfection at the top end of the pedestal. I'm just taking care of this with a bit of filler. As you can clearly see, most of the cleaning up of this pedestal casting has been done with a file and my linisher, and so far the results are quite good. Even by hand the part is fairly accurate. I'm going to run it through the milling machine and double check this. The holes in the top of the pedestal are drilled 7/32 of an inch in diameter. This is tapping size for the studs that I'm going to be using. I'm currently drilling the holes in the base part of the pedestal. It's a very similar procedure to the one I've just shown in the top of the pedestal, except the holes go all the way through and they are 1/4 of an inch in diameter to take 1/4 of an inch holding bolts like these. This will allow the pedestal to be firmly bolted down to the baseboard. What you're watching at the moment are various checks on squareness of the component, and to say it's finished by hand, with the exception of course of the small drum sander, it's pretty good. I really am pleased with this. And what I did to verify this was I put it in the milling machine and took some very fine cuts across the top and bottom of the column. But really, looking at the amount of metal that I removed from each end in one pass, I didn't need to do it. It was accurate to start with. So it just goes to show you don't always need the best of equipment. Well, I haven't got the best of equipment. My milling machine is quite an embarrassment, really. And talking about embarrassing, I set up the shots for the milling machine sequence and unfortunately forgot to press the record button. That is of course a bit of a disadvantage of the way I do this. All the video that you see is shot in real time. None of it is staged for the camera, so I can't remove the metal that's already been removed. And while this video is uploading to YouTube, I think I will have a quick look around the web and buy a book called Videography for Dummies. Thanks for watching and I hope you found it useful. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.